Welcome back to Kanell and Bell on this Wednesday. So we talked about LeVar Ball not that long ago when there was an episode of Ball in the Family. It got really uncomfortable between Lonzo and LeVar. And we're sitting there thinking, man, that would be awkward. And you could see on Lonzo's face, he wanted to say something, like kind of wanted to go back at him, but there's definitely respect there for his dad. There's a relationship that has been cultivated over a long time. So now there are reports that they are not talking. In the latest episode of the Ball family, Lonzo was asked how LeVar feels about the Pelicans trade. And you know what his response was? I don't know. We're still not really talking. Our relationship is not how it's been in the past, so we're not really talking too much right now. I really don't know how he feels, but I know he just wants what's best for me. He should be happy. I don't know. LeVar, on the other hand, says no, nope. We are on the best of speaking terms. I'm not even going to go there. We not on the best of speaking terms. What? That's just a little setback. People can say what they want, do what they do. Me and him always going to be fine. It's just going to take some time. So he kind of walked it back even there in his answer.
Yeah.
Clearly, the way he threw him under the bus, calling him discarded. What was the word? The term
he said he was damaged.
Damaged goods was the word.
Didn't call him damaged goods. He said, "What should I throw away Big Baller brand?" And he said, like, should people throw away Lonzo if they say he's damaged goods after the last couple of years? So, like, I don't know that he said, hey, bro, you're damaged goods. But it was a little harsh in the show. This just makes me sad.
Yeah.
Right? Because I have 3 boys, and I am an involved parent, and as I'm sure you are. And if our relationship ever got to this point because of my involvement, it would be I would be a really sad person. So I'm sad for him. I'm sad for his son who, look, my first couple years in the NBA, man, I needed more guidance than ever. I needed more support than I ever did. And so to lose it at that point is just the worst time. Like, for a lot of reasons, I'm sad, man. But I'll echo, kind of, or double down on what I said. Like, the dad has to, he's a grown man now. You have to let him be a grown man. Like, whether you agree with everything he does or not, like, God bless my dad. Like, my dad is dope. He's awesome. And I know he does not agree with everything I do. I know it for a fact. Mm-hmm. But he lets me be my own man. Like, and he did at that point too. Now, he's there for guidance when I needed it and when I asked for it, but he wasn't trying to control my life. And, you got to get out his way, bro.
It's been obviously LeVar has been so implemental in all 3 of his boys' lives, creating them, being there for him, being a great
and I applaud that.
I do too.
Yeah,
but at some point, I think you've got to realize, and this is maybe one of the downfalls of being such an involved father and such an involved parent, coaching them, training them, making sure they're, trying to put them on this path, that you do have to let go at some point. And if you had the last say, and if they were always, and this is probably a credit to the kids, being respectful of their father, which is how it should be. Yes, Dad, whatever you say, Dad. And if he said something was really harsh, it was just a, kind of a hard style of parenting, which I think I'm totally okay with. Too many parents are way too soft on their kids nowadays. But at some point, you've got to realize, all right, I've done my job up to this point. Now I've got to let him be his own man. And
Absolutely.
you can still disagree, but I thought he crossed the line in that last video that we saw when he did call him damaged good or insinuate that, when he is still trying to force them to be a part of his business venture with the Big Baller brand. At some point, you've got to say, you know what? I've kind of maximized all this. Now let's just kind of do our own thing. And I actually think separation and them not talking might be good for all of them. Like, maybe the time away will allow LeVar to do some self-reflection. Lonzo can kind of sprout his own wings and start growing up and maturing a little bit so that he can come back at his dad maybe a little bit more reasonably and say, hey, this is why I need to be my own man.
Yeah.
And it can be better for everybody. But ultimately, I don't want to see, I want to see them have a great relationship.
Sure.
Like, that's the hope. And maybe this time away kind of helps them when they aren't talking.
Yeah, that's a good point. I want to be – I've said on here before, I think LeVar Ball is a good dad. Like, I see his interaction with those kids. Like, I see, the cultivating of the brand and all of that as being, something that he did for his kids. And I think he's raised them. You can tell that they respect him and there's a healthy respect for dad. But if you've done such a good job and you've raised them the right way, then you got to trust – when it's time to let him go. You know what I mean? And I think that is actually a, compliment. And you should take it as one. When your kids, you've raised young kids, women or men, to at some point be able to say, hey, you know what? You've taken me this far, and now I got to do it on my own. And if you're confident in the job you've done, you should probably let him go out and try it.
So I've been critical of LeVar Ball, and it's gotten some pushback saying, well, wait, we need more African-American fathers that are like him. And I'm like, yeah, you're exactly right. And people have a hard time separating. I think he's a great dad. I think he's an awful manager, agent, whatever you want to call it, that he's been playing this double role. I think he's completely failed him in that area and somewhat sabotaged and even cost him some money. Like we were joking, we were running out of time the last time. But if I'm Lonzo, I'm saying sign me up for Nike, Adidas. Let me go all bidders and leave the Triple B band and the brand in the dust. Let me go somewhere else. And I don't think all his talking and chatter with the media has done any favors. If anything, it's made it tougher on Lonzo to succeed.
Yeah, totally. And black, white, orange, red, yellow. I mean, your job is to empower your kids, right? And people in your family. Make them feel like they have their own voice, right? Teach them the right morals, the right values, so that when they put that voice on display, people respect what they're saying. It's not to keep them silent. Right. Make them do what you want to do all the time and belittle their opinion. Like, that's not your job. Your job is to empower them. So I agree with you. We need more great fathers, like in the world in general, whatever color. But I don't believe that a father's job is to keep a child in their place when they're 20-some years old. Like, you have to let that you trust that you've done your job.
Yep, for sure. We've been getting some really good feedback on our fan questions. So you go to Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review. You can subscribe, you can unsubscribe, and then subscribe again. Do a little trick there to get us some more credit from there. But we got some really good response. In those comment sections, when you talk about the show, ask us a question. So we've been doing NBA questions for Raja, and we had from Adams1996 asked, do you think Lonzo Ball will fix his career in New Orleans?
So Adams1996. Let me give... First of all, I think I understand the question, but I want to say first and foremost that I don't believe there to be anything wrong with Lonzo's career. Aside from having missed some games with injury, like I think his career is fine, and I'll support that like by drawing a comparison to Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd's numbers as a rookie or through his first couple years were 14 points a game, 8.5 assists, 6 rebounds. All right, Lonzo's are 10. 6.5 assists and 6.2 rebounds, all in the same vein. Shooting percentages were identical. Like Jason Kidd, 38.3% from 2. Lonzo, 38% from 2. Jason Kidd, 31.1 from 3. Lonzo Ball, 31.5 from 3. All of those numbers are right there in the same. And there was not that narrative about J. Kidd. It wasn't. Like, Lonzo just came in so hyped that it was almost impossible for him to live up to that. Couple it with what the dad does.
Right.
Now it's an impossible thing to live up to. Now, the missed games, 160 for J. Kidd played versus the 99 played for Lonzo to this point is a thing. So staying healthy is a thing. I think that will be helped in New Orleans. They've got Aaron Nelson, who was with me in Phoenix. Phoenix had possibly the best medical staff in the NBA for years and years and years. They will help him along with the playing more games aspect of it. In terms of his game continuing to grow like Jason Kidd's game did, New Orleans is going to be fantastic for him. Alvin Gentry and David Griffin are going to want to play fast. They're going to want to get up and down the court. You've got possibly one of the most electrifying finishers in the game running the lane with you now, in Zion Williamson. Like, those are just going to be lobs. Those are going to be kick up ahead. Those are going to be plays that he makes. The best part of Lonzo doesn't lie within the stats that support that I just threw at you. It's the way people want to play with him. When you watched him at UCLA, when you watched him in Summer League, he didn't always make the assist. A lot of times he made the play that led to the assist, like getting it off of the rim because he's a big guard who can rebound, kicking that thing up the half court on an outlet pass, that guy taking 2 dribbles and then dishing it, and somebody's on top of the rim. Like, those are selfless plays. And when I watched him play at UCLA, why I championed for him in the draft was because I saw a bunch of dudes that wanted to run with him. Mm-hmm. Every time he had his hands on the ball, there were people whose eyes were lighting up because they wanted to get, reap the benefits of what he was about to do. And I think that will be on display in an up-tempo style in New Orleans with kind of a, he does not going to have that shadow of LeBron on him, so to speak, now. And if he's not injured, he can get on the court. I think it's going to be a big year for Lonzo and New Orleans, quite frankly.
All right, good stuff from you. Thanks for the question there, Adams, 1996. Keep those questions coming. There's a bunch more I want to get to. Tomorrow I want to get to LaMelo Ball. There's rumors he could go number 1 in the 2020 draft. So I'm going to get your thoughts tomorrow on that. Right. But we got to take a break because it's Wednesday. We got to do Shoe Showdown. Plus, there's some NFLers that are making a rare appearance in a WWE broadcast. It's pretty funny. We'll get to those next right here on Kanell and Bell.